Hi guys, I'm Renato Nuńa Jr., grade 12 STEM A of Brookes National High School, and I'm here to present to you my CAPSTONE project, research project entitled Turned Out of Income of Street Food Vendors Before and During the COVID-19 Pandemic. In response to the Department of Education of COVID-19 pandemic, with the World Health Organization or WHO, the Philippine government announced a countrywide shutdown and adopted various steps to control the spread of COVID-19 virus beginning on March 2020. So because of these happenings, a lot of things happened, including the temporary shutdown of businesses of business owners. People with small businesses like street food vendors also need to stop or temporarily stop their business to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Due to this, their daily income decreased during the pandemic because there are no customers and their business has to stop. As the countries are slowly coping with the pandemic and the COVID-19 virus, establishments are slowly reopening and stores and businesses are making a comeback on the market, including street vendors. But with the protocol still in effect, there is still a considerate effect on the income of these vendors. How would they overcome their needs in this time of pandemic? What do street food vendors do to do their products, and how does it affect their daily income? How do the pandemic affect their daily income?
Hi guys! Ako nga pala si Renato Jr. ng Brookes National High School at kasalukuyan tayo narito ngayon sa 26 Port ng Brookes Point, Palawan, at kung saan makikita natin dito karamihan nakapwesto ang stall ng mga street food vendors na kasalukuyan nagtitinda sa gitna ng pandemya. Halika, samahan nyo ako, tanungin sila. Samahan nyo ako. Anong pangalan nyo, ate? Mariel. Ito po, nandito si Ate Mariel at tatanungin natin siya kung ano ang mga nagbago sa kanila nung pandemya. Ate Mariel, ano po ba yung mga bagay na ginagawa nyo dati na hindi nyo na ginagawa ngayon dahil nagkaroon ng pandemya? Ano po ba yung mga bagay na nabago? Dati na ginagawa nyo dati or hindi nyo pa ginagawa dati na ngayon ay ginagawa nyo na?
Nakakapag labas na sa yung mga bagay na hindi namin nagagawa ay nagagawa na po namin.
Katulad ng parang dati ba marami ba kayong customer, ganon?
Dati lang po, konti lang. Ngayon is na po, parang
mas nag-okay na. Pero nung yung halimbawa first wave ng pandemic ay nakapagtinda ba kayo nun?
Wala po.
Wala talaga? Wala. As in, okay. So, bali, parang nahinto kayo ng business nun, di ba? So, wala kayong kinita. Anong parang anong ginawa nyo nun? Parang, dahil walang pandemya, ano parang pinagkukunan nyo ng income nun? That time? Wala, di ba? Parang ipon lang. Ano yung magiging parang advice nyo sa mga kasamahan yung street food vendors para magpatuloy sila sa pagtitinda?
Tiyaga, at saka distancing, at saka tiyaga, asipag.
Christmas, huwag kanina.
Huwag kakalimutan ng face mask. Huwag kakalimutan ng face mask, guys. Lagi suotin ng face mask. So, ngayon, maraming salamat sa iyong araw.
Thank you po.
Okay, guys. Titigman. Lapit tayo. Okay. Titigman natin yung yung kanilang tinitinda. Pwede makumuha na Ayan. Thank you. Ito magkano ito?
10 po.
10. Tas ito.
5.
Sige, ito na lang 10. Ito ang kadalasang binibili ng karamihan. Tama ba? Ito madalas. Anong pinaka-bestseller nyo maliban dito?
Ito,
Itong siomai ba to?
yes po.
Itong anong flavor na ito?
Chicken at sausage.
Okay. Tikman natin, guys. Etong sa sauce naman, anong halo nyo dito? I mean, paano nyo siya ginawa?
Toyo, suka, tsaka cornstarch.
Gusto mo? Gusto mo? Ay, mabibili din. Tikman natin, guys. Wow!
First,
Halaga to.
So, hi guys. I'm back again here to discuss to you what is the importance of my advocacy and how it would help the vendors. So, for this capstone project, I'll be choosing the social media information advocacy for our street food vendors here in Brookes Point, Palawan. It will help them and it will benefit them and also the people in the community of Brookes Point, Palawan to be aware of what is the current situation of our informal business holders such as the street food vendors amid the pandemic. This is how I made the social media information advocacy for the street food vendors here in Brookes Point, Palawan. Let's go! Yeah, and I hope that this advocacy will help the vendors to gain more customers and help them with their income during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm looking forward to have a positive response after this advocacy for our street food vendors. Street food vendors are one of the most affected vendors during the time of pandemic. They rely their income on their customers. They are part of the vast informal food system that keeps much of the world from going hungry. But the pandemic has devastated the livelihoods of street food vendors, disrupting their ability to do their jobs and leaving many in fight for survival, with many street vendors facing near total loss of customers. Even when street vendors are allowed to sell on the streets, the situation is extremely challenging. And even lockdowns being eased in some places, businesses will likely to be slow to recover as many people continue to observe social distancing and other health protocols that the IATF implemented to prevent the spread of the virus. Because of this problem, the researcher decided to conduct a statistical analysis on how did the pandemic affect the daily income of street food vendors. In this time of pandemic, there are many factors that affect the income of street food vendors. What could be the factors that affect the income of street food vendors? So this study aims to evaluate the income of street food vendors in Brookes Point, Palawan before COVID-19 pandemic and during the COVID-19 pandemic year 2021. This study also aims to determine the factors affecting the income of street food vendors during the COVID-19 pandemic. The questions that are need to be answered are: how much daily income do street food vendors get before the COVID-19 pandemic?
how much daily income the street food vendors get during the pandemic. What factors affect the daily income of street food vendors during pandemic? And is there significant relationship between the pandemic and the income of street food vendors in Brookes Point? In this study, it benefits especially the street food vendors as well as the people who want to start a small business amid the pandemic. It will help them to be more aware about the situation of our local food vendors. It will also help the people to have an idea on how to run a business by viewing the perspective on how street food vendors cope up for a better income in this kind of pandemic. According to the survey in India of Maskardeka year 2020 entitled Withstanding COVID-19 and its Effect by Street Food Vendors, 100% of the results shows loss of income, complete shutdown of their business, and scarcity of food stocks are the effect of pandemic to the street food vendors. 70% of 50 respondents increased their debts. Due to this problem, the researcher decided to conduct a survey on what could be the factors affecting the daily income of street food vendors here in Brookes Point, Palawan. According to the survey of researchers in Brookes Point, Palawan, for the income of street food vendors during the COVID-19 pandemic, the factors affecting the income of street food vendors are lack of customers, fear of getting the disease, restriction due to implemented ECQ or GCQ, and social distancing. 90% of the street food vendors strongly agree that lack of customers greatly affect their income during the COVID-19 pandemic. 70% of the street food vendors agree that having a fear of getting a disease greatly affect their daily income while selling their product. Also, 80% of the respondents strongly agree that the implementation of ECQ and GCQ affect their income during the COVID-19 pandemic. 70% of the respondents also strongly agree that social distancing are one of the factors that affect their income during the pandemic. So there are 4: lack of customers, fear of getting the disease, restriction due to implemented ECQ or GCQ, and social distancing. According to the results of the survey of the researcher in Brookes Point, Palawan, for the income of street food vendors during the pandemic, 9 out of 10 street food vendors, or 90% of the respondents, shows that their earnings significantly reduced by 33% on average while selling their product amid the pandemic outbreak. Only 1 out of 10 respondents, only, or 10% of the street food vendors, shows a significant rise or increase on their income by 40%. In general, majority of the street food vendors decreased their income during the COVID-19 pandemic by 33%.
That is the end of our video. I hope you guys enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below, and of course like this video for for my good grades. And I hope to see you guys again very soon. Later.